an input. This can be just a conversation with me and Stitches and Dateline if you choose. But I'm thinking that everybody did see. What's up, Clowny Honey? The stream that Abe did this week addressing Dateline and Bridget.
No, I didn't see it.
I saw it.
You didn't see it, Larry?
No.
All right. Well, Larry, it's pretty foul, and you'll just have to. I guess we'll get back over there to you because you're not going to understand some of this. A lot of this.
That's fine.
But fupa has always kind of been around in our community, and so when we start talking about some of this, I'm sure she's going to know what we're talking about.
Correct.
I'm going to give Dateline the floor here in just a second, but me and Stitch is just going to make a couple of our own points first. Abe, you screamed like a psychopath with the most filth out of your mouth on your panel in the middle of the night while we were all asleep. Okay, you continue to want our attention, even though we're constantly telling you we don't even care to fight with you anymore. And I know what it's about, Abe. It's about Jake. We know, we see why you're on the floor, kicking your feet and punching the floor like a 2-year-old. We understand, okay? But it's ridiculous, and I'm going to tell you this. We are going to be redoing our fucking header, and you're going to come out of it, and we are going to let you say whatever the fuck you want to say after today, and you're done over here.
Right, we're gonna take Abe out of it and put Jake in it.
We're done with you now officially. We are going. You're not welcome over here. Okay, don't come over here. You're not going to talk about one of my best friends like that after all the shit we've watched you do, honey. Okay. You're done over here. Don't come in here right now and ask for a link because you said on your stream that you would make her leave the panel. No, you won't. You're not coming up here. So don't ask. And say what you want. We're reacting to you no more after today. You know why? We don't have to, Abe. You have sealed your fucking channel. And now I think after the video you kicked and screamed for, because it was like, why don't you make a video on me? Well, you got that video. How'd it feel? And there was a lot of people in this community because my DM stayed dead fucking blowing up all week, honey. People that were new here never heard you talk like that. They didn't realize how filthy you have been in front of all of us for a long time. Okay. So I'm going to give Dateline a chance to talk, but I know Stitches has a question for you. So I'm going to let him ask that, but you're done. This is your one and done. We won't be addressing shit with you again. Say what you want. We will stand on our morals. You stand over there on your lack of. We'll see where the community flocks. And that's all I got to say about it. What's up, Bridget? Go ahead, Mike. What was your question to Abe?
So, Abe, you remember all the times I came on your panel and you want to try to paint the narrative saying that I'm a doxer, I hang out with doxers, I support real lifers. Well, isn't it kind of hypocritical of you to be over there on Mark Terry with all the doxers, the ones in the chat, the ones on the panel? Barbie, she even changed her name to mimic you. She's evil Barbie now. You're evil Abe. What are y'all, an evil couple? I mean, I'm just wanting to know. So, do you support doxers? Do you support real lifers? Because look, you're YouTube marrying up one of them, your little girl over there, Barbie, that's showing some stupid ass videos that proves nothing, okay? Except for you better not get in the DMs with her. So you continue on, Abe. Have a nice little time over there. I know why you go to Mark's and you put up with Barbie and all them. It's because your channel's done. It's dead. It's gone. She gone.
Yep.
And you have to go somewhere where that has a little audience so you can be heard. Well, let's see how that works out for you, because I'm done fucking with you. Okay, you know, I try to be nice to you.
We stood up for you, dude.
Right.
Me, Stitches, and Dateline, when you were being called a pedophile by Dina, we all came up here and fucking rode for you, and we weren't even buddies. We stood up for you when someone was calling you that, but you don't like what she had to say about a very disgusting comment, and you want to go to the lowest grit and grime, and you want to say that nasty, foul shit about Bridget's dogs. Like, first of all, I hope everybody's paying attention and go watch Dateline's video. If you hadn't seen it, somebody can drop it in the chat, because what mind thinks like that? You're over here calling Noodles out, and I'm not a Noodles fan, but the shit you have said, why are y'all any different? Noodles says he's a character. You say you're a character. Why are you dismissing yourself and calling me a fucking hypocrite while you're just as fucking bad as the motherfucker you're calling out?
He's worse. Noodles didn't even get descriptive like he did. He got so descriptive in his disgusting comments, where Noodles just said he would travel to a foreign country because of the age of consent, which Abe took it like way over the fucking line. Yeah, it's disgusting. And Noodles actually, you know, the fucked up part about that whole thing is I never watched Noodles before. Like, I knew enough about him to be like, okay, that's not my cup of tea. Like, the the comments that he made about the age of consent, and like using it as like a joke.
Right.
And then the fact that he had that association to Botter, who was like doing all of the CP. And then he took that as a joke too and made like a backdrop on his channel of kids, like school kids. So like all of those things, unfortunately, has made it to where Noodles is viewed as Southside, like he's trash, right?
Yeah, I don't fuck with Noodles.
No, but he is no different than Abe. Actually, Abe is worse. So it's kind of funny. And the only reason I made that comment, which is what sparked this whole thing off, was Kimmy K was making a comment in Marks and talking, because Noodles went up on the panel, and she was like talking about how Schwan put a video up to show how disgusting Noodles is. And I find that like funny, because he has no problem dealing with Abe and sitting on panels with Abe and laughing at all of the things Abe does. And in the past, he even participated in it, but yet he's pushing for the community to shun Noodles, which is not even as bad as Abe. So that's why I made that comment. Of course, that's what, triggered Abe up.
That
and
one
had
comment
him
made him go fucking manic.
Yep.
Between you and Bridget, he decided to prove to everybody who didn't know how foul he could be, how foul he can still be.
Right.
Over one comment.
And I think you're right. I think it's the association to Jake, because we go in and we chat with Jake, because Jake actually, like, you will know your standings with him most times. Like, he can be foul and dirty, but not even to the extent of Abe. Like, Abe, you never know what you're going to get.
Let me explain my situation. Let me explain where I'm coming from for anyone. I can't speak for you guys, but for me, when Stitches and I decided to do this, I had Jake blocked for almost 2 years. Okay. But I decided that really, when I sat and took a look around, that at some point, almost every player in this game got some dirt somewhere. We all pick up something at least once, okay? And we all usually have somebody in our circle that's done something that we would try to fight against, which would make us look hypocritical. So I decided I'm unblocking Jake. I'm putting the gauntlet down with Abe. I told them I was just wanting to start reacting to the community. And since then, Jake has consistently just been chill with me. Do I know the shit that Jake does? Yeah, I know the shit a lot of people do. I'm not here to be the fucking YouTube police. But Abe, he won't do that. He tells you, oh, I like you, oh, this or that. And then the next minute, he finds some reason to be a fucking lunatic. And I'm not going to deal with that inconsistent shit. You can be either consistently be an asshole or be consistently nice to me, but I'm not going to play hot and cold with not a single fucking person here.
Right. Just like with way people like tell you, well, Larry H is a good example. And this is the reason why I wanted to have Larry H on this panel, because when he first comes to this side of the YouTube, he was getting a hate because of being on Isaac's panel and the shit that Isaac used to do. And they're like, yeah, you co-signed for Isaac, you did this, you did that, and did that. Obviously, and I never knew Larry H or talked to him up until he came to this side of YouTube. But I've seen him on Guest Mob many times where he'd be up there actually arguing with Isaac about shit he was doing, and they would get at it. So yeah, everybody does the shit on the panel, but this is why I'm saying I don't go by what anybody says, because if I was to go by what people said when Larry H came over here, I would have been after him saying, you did this, you did that. So I decided I'm going to talk to Larry H, and I treat people how they treat me. I don't know what he done to somebody else to make them mad at him, and I don't know what they did to him to make them mad at him or him mad at them. I don't know their story. All I can go by is how Larry treats me. And as long as Larry treats me right, and I'll treat him right, that's all I'm going by. I don't know the history, don't want to know the history, doesn't matter. Because the main things that matters to me is, if you're a scammer or kitty diddler or whatever you want to be.
Real lifer,
exactly. And I don't think Larry's none of those. So that all the other bullshit's just bullshit. I mean, what do you think, Larry? What are you talking?
Well, I mean, yes. Did I sit on the panel and laugh and make comments when the shit was going down? Yes. Was it my format or my idea of the show? No. But I was over there. I had a good time when I was there. I own everything I did. A lot of people have every right to hate me. But I never doxed anybody. I never went real life on anybody. I don't do that.
Well, and people don't really hate you. More or less, you get trolls that want to run narratives.
A lot of the trolls hated me while I was there. The second, right after I left, they're all in my chat going, yo, what up, Larry?
Right.
it's hate by association. It's what it is. Steve went through it too.
Yeah.
Steve went through the exact same thing that I went through.
So Abe brought up, I want to get to the meat and potatoes of the situation with Abe. So Abe's big thing was he thought he was going to expose Dateline with this little message that's from the dinosaur era. That was his stream. So I want to give Dateline a chance. And there's a lot of you that might not understand this because this is old. It's old. But he's just an asshole and he wants to be addressed. So we're going to give him what he asked for, just like the video. So Dateline, go ahead and address it the way you wanted to, hun.
Okay. I just wanted to point one thing out before I kind of go back in history, but just the way what people need to think of is the way that Abe works on here. So he's using that comment because it was a DM from Twitter that we had, I think back in 2020. No, not 2020. 2018. Yeah. It was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Stewie was putting up videos, that clip of Abe saying, that he loved Gunn and that he's welcome anytime and stuff like that. And so Abe had messaged me about that whole thing. I think we were talking about something else. And then he brought it up in the conversation. And that's why I said, well, I'm sorry that Stewie is giving you shit about that, because I knew, like, historically they had their ups and downs. It was sort of like what he does with Mangos and Mark, right?
Right.
Like enemy, not enemy, right? But he could always use the fact, and this is what he does. Like, he can always say, well, I went against that person. I was never for them, and make it seem like when he was with them, it was almost like a troll. So he kind of gives himself some space for that, and he does it with everybody. Like, you never know where you stand with the guy. Like, one minute he could be good with you, and the next minute he's gonna fucking trash you.
I couldn't agree with that more.
For no reason.
Go ahead, Fupa. What was you gonna say?
No, I just said I couldn't agree more than what she just said.
Yeah, I mean, he's inconsistent. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, he's done the same shit to Fupa. He does the Dateline. He's done it to both of them.
Yeah, what the problem is with him is when he's focused on, say, 1, 2 to 3 people at the moment, everybody else is his buddy, whether he was on your behind before or not. But then when he's done with and tired of that beef with that person and going at them, he'll refocus. So here's the thing. When you're friends with him and he's being cool with you, the things he does and tries to annihilate people like he's trying to with Dateline right now, he will rear his ugly head towards you sooner or later. So think you've been sitting there for a year or two clean and free and he really likes you, your turn's coming. It will come.
It's like he sucks you in just to punch you in the chest. And he's done that to me for years. Like, I literally was I'm sure you guys, I don't know, Fupa, if you were watching back then, I know Dateline and Stitches remember, I literally was part of Spit Nation at one point.
Right.
Like, I really thought that he had the ability to be like, and Jake has even said it himself, Abe actually does have the ability to be an amazing YouTuber.
Totally.
But he doesn't have the mental ability to keep his bipolar in fucking check.
Well, and
his alcoholism under
right,
control.
Substance abuse and all that has, a lot to do with it.
Yeah. And that's what he did to me for years. I think we were friends. And then he would, like, the last time I got so crazy on the panel, I'm over cussing Dateline out in her DMs, cussing Brock out in their DMs. Like, I was seeing red. Even Mike was like, I'm sorry if I upset you. The next day I had to eat crow with all my friends because Abe had me so fucking triggered. I said the worst shit. I was saying shit that didn't even make sense. I was like, fuck you in your ass with my clit, you stupid motherfucker.
Well, what people have to understand is he's good with you as long as you're in his chat, or if you go on his panels. If he's not getting the level of attention that he wants from you, then you're going to get fucking trashed.
Well, the reason why we had that fight was because of something about Shannon. And he started trying to bait me and Stitches. Remember, Mike? He started saying, no, he started trying to make me responsible for shit that Shannon was doing. I can't even remember. It was something with Shannon and something with something. And we were just trying not to comment. And he just kept on poking.
That was about the time remember when Mark Terry, they were saying that Mark Terry said something about Shannon's, right. And,
but don't bring it up because she doesn't like that.
And he was trying to tell me that
he was making us responsible for whatever his opinion was to her.
Well, because Mark said he didn't say,
like an idiot.
Right, because Mark said he didn't say anything, and he was trying to say, well, Stitches is saying that, and that's not what I said. I didn't say I heard Mark say it. I said that I didn't hear what Mark said when he said it originally. So that's the way Abe does you. He'll take some situation, Barbie does the same thing, take a situation, spin it around, and then make it look like something that it wasn't. That's the way they do.
And call himself Honest Abe. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dateline. And we stepped right on your toes again. Go ahead, honey.
Oh, yeah, no problem. And I was just kind of pointing that out in the front because he was using that comment sort of also to kind of vindicate himself and saying, well, look, she said I was never friends with him. I was just pointing out to him and kind of reassuring him that, yes, he was never really close. He never really had a close relationship with him. but that's not to say that he wasn't friendly with him. And that's not to say that he didn't go in his chats, just like all of us. Like, I never personally spoke to Gunn offline. It was only in his chats. So he did the same thing as me, as what he's trying to call me out for.
And let me say this, as a person that was on the outside watching, you were not the only one. There's plenty of people, including Stitches, that I highly respect. They were all going over there. Let me explain something to people that don't understand. Gunn is very charismatic. He's got the gift of gab. He's witty. He can be funny. And he was here for a long time, hanging out in this community before he made haters that started digging up who he was, and the truth came out. Before the discovery report, there was no receipts.
Right.
So all of my friends that are being persecuted for being over there with him after it came out, but how many times have we all seen stuff come out around here that was a fucking lie? Just because someone says something doesn't make it true. And a lot of people were over there, but as far as I know, and I could be wrong, but when I was watching, when the discovery came out and that video that Bacon and them put together, not Abe, while he sat over there on his panel playing it with such pride, it was not even your video, dude.
Right.
When that came out, that's when everybody bounced on that motherfucker. When the discovery came out, everybody's like, oh, it's true. But you guys all know the rules around here. Receipts or it didn't happen.
And see,
go ahead, Mike.
Well, but I'm saying, and see, that was about the time when Gunn went on to Marion Fish's panel, all drunk. No, Fair and Mish is all drunk, and he went after Mills. Remember when Gunn went after Mills, talking all that shit about her and saying that stuff on the live stream? And I went into that live stream and I told him, I said, you will pay for that. And and I have. You know, and most people don't know this, because when I decided that Gunn was going away from here, I had 5 hours. I still have 5 hours of private recorded conversations with Gunn, and the reason why was because they were investigatory type questions, and I triangulated Gunn where he was at when he was arrested. I went and looked at the paperwork of the address he was arrested on. The address that I turned over to the authorities was 30 miles from his exact location.
Thing.
One thing I do know is if someone is, like, say, on a panel and they say something about someone enough to the same group of people, they just say it over and over and keep repeating that, they're going to believe it.
Yeah, it's called cognitive dissonance. It's you know, knowing something's wrong, but you hear it so many times or you see it so many times that you start believing it. Just like these people that
want to believe it,
right.
So you only seek out the things that give you that belief system. What's up, everybody coming into the chat?
It's like all these people that lie all the time and they believe their own lies. Those, you know, Barbie. And
so he's coming at Dateline like, oh, what's up, Savage Honey? Well, look. It's like he's coming at her for this one little comment, and it's actually fucking so stupid, because he's bringing up shit from 5 years ago, and half of you motherfuckers weren't even here, nor do you understand what was going on back then. But we all, as a community, dealt with that shit, and everybody moved on. Okay. And you're not going to come up here and attack her because she was trying to be a good fucking human and say that this person's been a good person and you don't even have no proof yet. You're not going to come up here and that's sad. That's sad, Abe. We can sit over here and pull shit you did last year. You got to
go ahead. And like you said, Tara, because after that whole thing, like, I don't like to get into people's business. Okay. I mean, I'll watch, obviously. I mean, YouTube is like drama in our community and people put out their business, but I don't go out seeking to get into people's personal information or their business. I mean, I do it with you. Like, I don't like to get into your business. So that's just me. But
well, you stopped me before when I was like, I swear to God, I've never gone real life, but I'm this motherfucker. And you were like, Tara, don't do it. Never. It's never worth it. Like, I'll stand behind you on that. You definitely do not believe in going real life when people don't even know what you do for a living and have the ability to go in everybody's real life. But I digress. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. And that's why, because of what I have to do for a living, I have to get in people's business. But on here, I don't. Like, this is my breakaway. And It's actually not morally right for me to use my tools that I use for work for something to bring harm to somebody or to do some. Yeah. So
that's the same with me. That's why I've never used any of my tools on YouTube, not one time.
No. And you know how many times I've had private conversations with people that we mutually are having a problem with, and they will force their information on me. I'll tell them, I don't want it. I don't need it.
That happens to me.
This is just YouTube. yeah, they'll just still give it to me. And I'm like, okay, well,
I'm like, I don't go real life, but thank you.
I don't know what you're trying to do, if you're trying to set me up for something, but I'm letting you know that I don't want it and I don't need it. But I made one exception, and that was Abe. And that was because I almost kind of had a little bit of trauma behind what happened with the gun thing, because I refused to get involved because it really didn't involve me.
Right.
But so in that scenario, I was like, okay, he's being accused of being a predator or a pedo. I don't exactly remember the term that they said, but I was like, okay, well, I kind of really don't want to defend it without knowing to a certain degree, you know? So I was like, okay, I'll make an exception and I'll look. And I used that for good, not for bad against the person. And I didn't even put it public. I was just reassuring Tara privately, letting her know that we can say something because I can legitimately have proof and evidence, not that I would show it, but just for myself to know I feel confident enough to clear this and say, he is not that. He's an asshole. And that's kind of like.
Yeah, because that is why we stood up for you, Abe, because we know you're not a fucking chomo as far as the record shows. But I mean, you do say some fucking questionable shit.
Right.
Yeah, he has actually, the sad part is, he has more characteristics than what Gunn had. And that was going to be my whole point. I never saw the behavior. So when people said these things, and it was coming from a group of people that he was fighting with. So it was weaponized. The information was weaponized.
Right.
And so you don't know, like, you see this a lot. Like, all of the men, if you get into a fight with people, I mean, they're automatically going to turn you into a pedophile. And then anybody who has the gall to stick with you is now a pedophile supporter.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah. So.
Pedophile, drug addict, criminals, you know.
But the thing is that Abe came over. I'm sorry, go ahead.
My little side note is, little off topic right now, but same person. Not only are Barbie's videos confusing and leave you, huh? Abe does the same thing. All of his videos kind of leave you, huh? But then let's go to the point of not only that, my other side note is, anything that these two say, because they're caught in a lie every single time they open their mouth. Yes, Abe too lies about everything. He has misinformation at all times, never gets anything right. You gotta, for that thing he did on Dateline, when I watched it, what I need from him and everybody else in the community, Abe, is for you to show receipts every step and every little point you make in that video. I'm gonna need a receipt from you because you're a known liar and a known misinformation spreader.
And he's a twister. He likes to play twister. And also, let me tell you how he likes to play twister. Because he argued with me and told me he wasn't Jonah. And he came for me because I said, you did no different than the things you're accusing Jake of. You just did it on your Jonah account. Then he argued and said he wasn't Jonah. But I think Dateline's proved that he was lying. He is Jonah. And he did upload on, okay, I'm not defending what Jake did. Jake got his punishment when he did it. He took it. What's up, Iggy? Thank you so much. Jake and Abe, for sure. I will add a few to the next message, but they are my top two. They suck. Okay. So when Jake did what he did, I'm not defending it, but he did it amongst a few people in private. Abe went on his fucking public YouTube Jonah account, and I saw it with my own two eyes and uploaded it, and he did not mark that child out. So why are you coming for people when you are literally doing shit worse than they are?
Right. That's what he does. He'll do the same stuff as everybody, as other people, but then he'll sit there and swear up and down that they're the bad ones and he's not. I'm like, how does that even make sense?
You guys have been around a long time. Maybe you guys remember this. Everyone seems to have forgotten about it through the years, and I cannot find the clip of it. Do you guys remember back in the beginning of Evil Abe's time here on YouTube when he did a little skit acting like a very young boy with an Uncle Tony?
Yeah, Uncle Tony.
Oh, yeah, that was some nasty.
We have it clipped.
Yeah, I got yes.
He doesn't want to keep on until we make part 2 and 3 of the fucking part 1 that's on Dateline's channel. She literally only put up a smidgen.
I tried telling people till I'm blue in the face about that. Nobody believes me. I cannot find the clip. But people don't understand. They turned on Noodles. Nope. You can't be friends with Noodles because of what he said about going to Japan. Wait a minute. I know someone who did worse than that.
Right, exactly.
About how descriptive and how gross the skit that Mr. Abe did with Uncle Tony, describing every step of the way through the process.
And this is why I think they'll all be back with Mark. And I actually like, I've known, me and Rachel have been friends for a long time. I'm not Dragon Ray. I like Julia. I don't have any problem with those ladies. I like G. I wish him nothing but the best. I got no problem with G. But here's why I don't believe for 1 second they won't all make up. Because they're over there, Julia and Rachella in Abe's side chat, and Abe's over there on G's fucking panel after he said the most foul fucking things about Julia and Rachella, and he cussed G out for everything. And all he did is decide to start playing nice again, and they let him back in, and they're back over in his side chat. And go where you want. I don't care. But don't expect me to take anything you say seriously about being done with somebody, because you're not done with this motherfucker. And don't expect me to take this seriously. We cuss Quinn out in the back because it's never okay to talk about abusing a woman. While when Abe is coming up on your panel, you say, here comes my boy. Now, I like G and I like Julie and I like Rachella, but I watch everything y'all are doing, and I'm just calling it like I see. Now, you either don't support what Quinn said or you do. And if it's okay for Abe to say it and do it, then y'all don't need to go at Quinn just so Steve don't call you out. Now, that's my opinion on that.
Right.
I've
And
never
then-
personally talked to them about it, and this is why. So when I'm very close friends with someone, I go beyond loyalty with them, probably to a fault that it could be damaging in some situations because I'm too loyal. I won't lie for a friend, but I will shut my mouth. I do not talk to them about it because I know they're friends with Abe. I haven't even told G what I've seen Abe do in the last few weeks against him on other panels in the drama community with his name in his mouth, not so kindly. Now you know, G, but hey. I avoid the subject because I know it'll become a fight, and I don't want to part friends with a friend over some piece of, so I avoid it.
Right.
That may be one of my faults, but that's how I
Well,
handle
no,
it.
I have the exact same problem you have, and Stitches has gotten on to me for it, actually, and said, when are you going to learn? Because I want to believe everybody's redeemable, and if you start being nice, I want to give you a chance. But, I mean, when I have to give you a chance 3, 10 fucking times.
I think there
Yeah.
comes to a point when enough is enough, though.
Yes.
Well, and
You
I've hit my
that
level with
breaking
Abe.
point.
Abe
Because-
and Barbie, I leave. If they come onto a panel and I'm in a channel and they come up, I click out. I have no interest in their
Right.
BS anymore. I can put up with a lot of crap, you guys, from people, and I can overlook a lot of things. I can talk to them about it, discuss it. Mark hit my limit finally. I mean, Abe, about a year ago, 8 months ago, I hit my limit with him. Done. No more.
Because what happens, I've said it many times before, is what happens when you continuously allow people to do that kind of stuff to you, you are training them how to treat you. You see what I'm saying? So you're teaching them how you want to be treated by allowing them to treat you like that.
Yeah.
And let me just say this real quick. Abe, quit sitting over there talking about Tom Selleck threatened to sexually assault you. Bitch, I got all these clips where you talked about how sexy Tom is and how you would do us at the same time, how
Right.
you'd be a bisexual threesome lover, how we're such a good-looking couple, how you'd suck it. He's just offering you to. But actually, Abe, you say I don't have the ability to listen. Why don't you go listen? He never said your fucking name. So
Right.
get your overflated ego out of the way. He said, I have a few people. And you took it for your own. You know why? Because you want to suck it.
Right. I think he does. He even said it. Didn't he say something
Yeah,
about that
Oh,
Tom's,
he's always had a hard on for me and Tom. That's why he's always.
didn't he say, I remember one time he said on his panel that he thought Tom Selleck was a good looking man, that he would probably suck it.
Yeah.
He would suck it one time. You remember he said that?
He was saying I'd suck it. And yeah, he's always been very complimentary about Thompson. Always. But Tom didn't even say his name. We were talking about doing the street fight, the YouTube fight thing.
Right.
And he was like, you were talking about going and kicking Rich Life's ass. And he's like, I'm here for it. I got a few people. That's what he said. I went back and listened to the shit twice. So get the fuck over yourself. But listen, Abe, let me just clarify and clean it up for you. You definitely on that list, son.
Only reason why I say I'm gonna kick Rich Life's ass so I can get him to make a stream and say, you better not go to that Stitch guy said he's gonna come to Whiteville. You better not come to Whiteville. I'll have you put in jail.